She's right there, I can't deny the beauty before my eyes. I can't help but fall in line, 'cause there's truth in her lies. Once again, I've lost my way, chasing cars and wasting days. Am I here to pass your time? 'Cause all I see are blurred lines. Am I just chasing dreams? Is this not what it seems?
It's Tuesday, April 27th here at the West End Gun Club. It's just after 0800 and we're standing here rather, on the top side of the West End Gun Club facility at the long range section of the facility. I've already set up my targets, and if you can see here, I have a 300-yard target just right about there if I'm looking at my LCD correctly. And I have a Magnetospeed indicator there, a T1000 indicator. And I'm gonna shoot some rimfire on that, and then I'm gonna zero my Remington 700P, re-zero it because I put the scope back on it after I got the barrel threaded for a break. And I'm gonna shoot the 6 Creedmoor. Last time I brought it out to this specific part of the facility, I was having malfunctions, but I cleaned the bolt out of all that junk that was in the bolt, and so now it's just regular oil, and we'll see how that goes. But let me go ahead and finish cleaning up here, and then we'll head down to the firing line, get set up, and we'll start shooting. The gate to the top side of the range was actually locked this morning, so I had to get the range staff to open it up for me. It's supposed to be open at 7, but sometimes they don't open it up, so you just have to ask them to open the gate. As far as anyone being here, I'm the only guy here right now. I anticipate that people don't want to come up here as often because it is kind of a pain, because you can't park next to the firing line or the firing pad. You have to walk all your gear from a parking lot the way they design this. So there's no vehicles beyond this point, so you can see here. And you kind of can park sort of, you can kind of just stage a little bit close, and then so you can walk not as far a walk to get your gear up here. But a lot of the older guys probably don't appreciate this. I don't mind so much, but it does take a little bit of time just to get all your gear out of your vehicle, especially if you have a lot of stuff. So it's a good thing I stayed under this overhead cover because it started raining a little bit. You can hear the drizzle on the metal overhang. So my camera would be getting wet right now if it weren't for being undercover, and all my gear would have gotten wet. But I just realized I was sitting on my lab radar, and on this bench or whatever, I totally forgot because I haven't been using lab radar in a while because I always use my Magnetospeed with rimfire, and I've been shooting a lot of rimfire, but and I haven't shot centerfire in quite some time with the lab radar. But that being said, I totally forgot that I need to keep this lab radar like either flush with the muzzle or in front of it, because the muzzle brake, these Hellfire brakes, kind of come out this way, and so if I keep it like behind it, it'll just blow it around. So that's how I'm going to shoot this, and probably take this plate away from here, and I can shoot like right around here, and that should be good enough. Probably need to set the lab radar a little bit closer, but either way, this will work fine. And I came up here and I just realized there's literally a lot of crap around here. This like coyote or whatever this is, so you got to watch where you step. Even on the benches, I don't know, they just jumped on the benches and took a huge steamer, but I got to watch out where you're sitting or standing out here because the wildlife just runs amok at night. Several years back, I wrote an article on how to bore sight your scope without a laser bore sighting tool. It's a really simple concept. Basically, you're just going to set up your rifle in such a way that without the bolt, semi-auto ARs, it'll work too. You just got to split the upper off, but usually with a semi-auto like a Ruger 1022, it's not going to work this way. But anyway, within reason, this is like better than the laser bore sighting. You're just going to set up your bore without the bolt, line it up to a target that you have, and I shouldn't have put this way out that far, but we'll try to make it work today, or I can just bring it in. There's no harm in me walking out there. But what we're going to do is try to find the target. Here we go. I'm going to put, it's a really large black circle. It's about a 12-inch, I think, or a 12 or a 14-inch circle, black. I'm going to put it in the center of my bore line. And what I'm going to do is keep that in the center, and I'm going to match the scope to that. So right now I'm up and to the right. So if I remember how to set up this vortex scope, which has been a while, we'll try to zero it. Usually you want to dial windage too closer, and that's the mistake I made here today, is setting my target at 100 yards. I think it's 100. I should have just set up right here, dead center. Because I usually, when I do the bore sighting, I'll usually zero my scope at close range, like 50 yards or 25 if it's rimfire, and then get the windage on right. And then when I set it out to my zeroing distance for 100 yards for center fire, then I know my windage is dead on. It's just got to worry about the elevation. All right, let's see where we're at. Make sure my, it's close to the center. Then we're going to adjust the windage left. My target's not straight, but this will do. Let's go ahead and tighten it up. All right, so if I did this right, we should be on paper, I hope. I use a single round loader, a sled. Basically, a sled is a single loading device, so you just load one round. It's basically a magazine, but not a magazine. And it seems like, yeah, it's locking in. Let's take a round. Let's fire a round. So these are 308, 175 grain, 44 grains of Varget. 170 grain burgers. All right, let's see how this goes. I did clean the barrel after I got it back from my gunsmith after he threaded it. So the barrel's obstruction, nothing there. A little tight to chamber. All right. And if I can see the target, we are right. On the so if you're familiar with an SR target, NRA targets, I got an X ring, a 10 ring, a 9 ring, an 8 ring. I have no idea what that is. I think that's a 300-yard target. So that means I have a 12.5 or 13-inch 9 ring, and I'm on the edge of the 9 ring, 8 ring at 3 o'clock, 3:30. I'm going to take one more round, shoot one more round. To see if that's just a clean bore, cold bore shot, because this gun hasn't been fired in quite some time. Probably 3 years. 3 years since I fired this gun. So let's take another shot here. I should probably just set the bipod lower because I don't have any more bags. This is not very adjustable, but it is what it is. All right, so I shot left of target. I broke the trigger wrong, but it is left of the last shot, about an inch, 2 inches. So we're gonna go ahead and adjust our windage. So I said we're at 330, roughly 330 about the 9 ring. So that's a 13-inch 9 ring, if I recall my dimensions correctly, for the SR target, SRC, SR3. So that means, so we're about 7 inches, 6.5 inches right, 100 yards. So I'm going to bring it over, but our windage, so it's our windage, our elevation looks pretty good at 330. I can bring it up maybe a little bit. Not a big deal. Made some slight adjustments on the elevation and windage. Not much elevation, definitely a lot of windage left. I think I took it left. But let's go ahead and shoot another round, assuming I didn't mess up my windage adjustment. I should bring my bipod a little lower, but I'll have to adjust my tripod for the lab radar. No one's around me. All right, I'm gonna fire around here. And I took it the wrong way, like a moron. Windage is, I went the wrong way. I should have went to go left. My bad. So I took it right. I need to take it left. All right, let's see if that goes full, I think more than a mil, but just fire that round like that. And right now, first shot detected on the lab radar is 2732 feet per second, which is a little hot, I guess. It's 175 grain, 26-inch barrel. And this round, I've tested this round in this barrel, in this gun, the 700P action. It's a factory action, factory barrel. I've shot it at Camp Pendleton on this sniper range 117 at 1,000 yards, and it does okay. I mean, it's not like keyholing or anything, so it's making it to 1,000. It's just not all that great for 1,000 yards. I mean, I can hold the F-class target, you know, within a 9 ring, okay, or 8 ring, but which isn't all that great, but it's enough to make a hit. All right, so we're dead on elevation on the X-ring, but our windage is now left of target by, according to this, We're in the 10 ring, about half an inch, quarter of an inch, 9 o'clock. So the X ring on an SR target, the standard 200 yard / 300 yard NRA target service rifle, I want to say it's, I could be wrong on the X ring. I want to say it's 1.5 inches. I haven't shot service rifle in almost 11 years, 10 years, so forgive me for my forgetting all that stuff. Last shot was 27.68. Okay, we're right of X ring, just like a hair. We're on, like there's an X, like literally a printed X on the X ring, and I'm right on the right upper leg of the X. So we'll just leave it at that. We'll call this one zeroed right now, just basically, and then I'm gonna let me go walk out there. We'll take a look at it, and then I want to reset a few things, adjust a few things on the table, and then we'll continue shooting. Assuming my camera's focusing correctly, you should be able to see the target here. So the first, I'm going to try to hold this with my left hand here and point. My first round was here, edge of 9 ring. Fired a second round to verify that that was a cold, because it was a clean cold bore shot. Fired a second round, which is right next to it. Made my adjustments, made the wrong adjustment, so I came right. So I adjusted it back to left. My next shot, so there's this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I'm like right around here. I can probably bring it over 1/10 of a mil. But right now I'm gonna let it hover here on the windage on the right here on the windage side, and elevation looks pretty good. So this is 100 yards, and but yeah, theoretically, I mean, I didn't need to fire this the second round if I didn't need to. I've messed up the third round. So I mean, I could have gotten on in maybe 1, 2, assuming I don't mess up here, 1, 2, 3 shots, right? Again, bore sighting your rifle the manual way. It's pretty easy. Just you don't need a laser bore sighting tool. All I need to do is just look through your bore onto a target, set your bore, take the bolt out, put the bore onto a target, keep it still while you're making your adjustments, and verify the reticle and the target in the bore match up. And just use a like a large black circle like that, and you should be good to go. At home, you could do this in your hallway if you got a long hallway, so that you can actually focus your parallax on your scope down short enough. But just set a black dot on a piece of paper on the wall and do the same thing. I do it at home. That's how I bore sight before I get to the range, usually. And that gets me on paper for sure. And then I just, dial in my windage and my elevation, and it makes a quick time at the range, so you're not really struggling. Don't waste your time with laser bore sighting tools. I just feel like, I agree that buying gear to help you solve an issue works out. I do it all the time with other things, but for me, just this specific case, why bother with a laser bore sighting tool? You spend money, half the time they don't even work correctly. And yeah, manual way is just a little bit easier. So take it as you will. I know a lot of people get triggered by it. I've got comments on that blog article I wrote several years ago. Like, yeah, how do you do this with a Ruger Mini 14? I'm like, well, you don't, dude. Just bring in your target to close, at short range, 25 yards, and then hope for the best, right? That's how we used to do it back in the day. 1022. I didn't use a laser bore sighting tool. I just set my target really close, 15 yards, and then fired a couple test rounds and worked from there. And there's no embarrassment in having to put your target at 15 or 10 yards just to get the scope on paper. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just normal. And I don't know if people feel embarrassed to do that or what. Just they don't want people seeing them shooting at a close-in target. Anyway, I digress. In the closing comments of the last range vlog, which was the NRL 22 match, I just sort of talked about what the things I was doing in the near future, and I mentioned this whole deal about I knew I was going to come out here to re-zero my Remington 700P police model, and I put this new KRG Bravo chassis on. I mentioned on Instagram that I got a KRG Bravo, but in that vlog, in the last vlog episode, I mentioned, long story, I got rid of my AICS chassis. So, and Matt, aka Womfat on YouTube, I've linked to him a couple times. He's in Canada and has a lot of great videos on rimfire shooting. So definitely check him out. And he's the same person who gave me that green bag, which I don't have with me today, but it's in my in my garage on my shelf next to my other bags. But anyway, he made a comment say, hey, I would be interested to know the long story behind the AICS. So if you go back to some of my older videos, of this Remington 700P. When I originally built it, I mean, all I did was take the barrel action, put it in a chassis, and put the original generation trigger tech. This is like the first gen trigger tech back before they had diamonds or different types, like the trigger tech select, I think. So they only had one trigger. It was a 700 trigger, and it was just called the trigger tech, and I got that. And this is what's in here anyway, right now. Anyway, so I just had, I built a gun. It was just a Remington 700 barrel action, 700P. I took it out of the HS precision stock, put it in an AICS chassis, it's a folding chassis, and then I put a trigger tech trigger on it. And I have this exact scope setup. And you go look at my blog articles and my old vlogs, and you'll see that. And I took it out to Pendleton a few times and shot it. And I developed my load with it in that, or developed these loads with that configuration. But so what basically happened? Why I get rid of the AICS chassis? I don't even know the generations here. It's like 1.5. It's called the 1.5. It's not the current gen, right? Like whatever the current gen is, I think that's a 2, version 2.0 or something. It's the older one, like the 1.5, I think is what it's called. So somebody correct me if I'm wrong. And it was a folding stock. And so what happened was, number one, I didn't like the AICS chassis over time, right? It's a heresy to say. But here's my opinion on the AICS chassis, or the AI chassis system. It's fine if you're shooting on an AI gun. I mean, the AI, you have that, it's a 60-degree bolt throw, and the way that rifle is configured, that action's configured, it makes sense for that chassis. But if you take an AICS and a Remington 700 style action, it just doesn't, the ergonomics just don't feel right to me. It's got a really high comb, and I had to run a 1.5-inch AR style scope base or scope mount to run that with that comb, because I couldn't get the comb low enough. Anyway, it just didn't feel right. The palm swell I didn't like. I didn't like the way the palm felt. I just didn't like a lot of things about it initially, but it shot okay, right? I shot decently. But what eventually happened, like a couple years down the line, or 2 years down the line, the folding chassis of the stock came loose, and so it's like wiggling a lot. And I was at SHOT Show one day, and I asked the guys at Mile High, and I said, hey, is this like user serviceable? Because Mile High is like the official, I think they're the official US distributor and like service center for AI products in the United States. And the guy's like, nah, you actually have to send that in because it's not user serviceable. Because I thought you could just take the skins off of the rifle and get to that hinge. So you got to take that in. It's like, wow, I have to send it in. And I was like, wow, you got to send that in, huh? And so I was like, man, I'm going to go through all this. And then, so here's the deal. I wasn't really liking the chassis, to be honest, after a couple of years and on this 700 action. And the folding stock was messed up, and I bought it from Brownells. And so Brownells has a 100% lifetime satisfaction guarantee, and you can return stuff to them after you've owned it for quite some time. And so I don't want to abuse that, because a lot of people like that whole Costco thing where people take back stuff all the time. And that's kind of messed up, right? I don't know, you use like an appliance for like a year and like, oh, I don't like this washer and dryer, I'm going to send it back and get a new one, right? I try not to abuse it, right? But if the fact that I didn't like the AICS chassis, I would have just sold it, right, to get my money back. Because that's just buyer's remorse after I'd used it for a year or two. But the fact that it broke on me, like kind of malfunctioned in terms of that hinge just being loose, and I just didn't like it, I just said, you know what, let me just take it back to Brownells. I sent it back to Brownells and refunded my money. A lot of people don't know that. That's how I returned my RMRs. I had 3 RMRs from Brownells. One died in a month, one died in a week. This replacement died in a week, and that replacement died after a year. And I just sent Brownells a letter with that RMR. The third one said, hey, I don't like this RMR. I've gone through 3 of them with you guys. I know it's not Brownell's fault, it's Perdigon's fault, and I just don't want to deal with the support on this, because why would I deal with getting something fixed that's broken where I've broken 3 of them? So Brownells took that back and returned my money. So, my original purchase price. Anyway, that being said, Brownells, I like their customer service. I don't abuse it. I use it in like rare cases like this. I actually should use it for one of my shot timers, because I have. Actually, is it here? Sorry, I'm off camera. I think it's in here. So these Pocket Pro 2s, I've broken 2 of these. I sent one back to Pocket Pro for service, and I bought all of them from Brownells. I have one that's right now at home, a gray one, that's broke. The LCD is just like all washed out, and it's just messed up. I should probably send that to Brownells and tell them, hey, this one's broke, but I don't know. I'm just going to go ahead and send that one back into Competition Electronics and have them fix it, because, it is what it is. But yeah, if I wanted to, I could do that. But you know, I don't want to abuse it in certain cases. So I just that AICS chassis, I just decided to do it that way. So anyway, that's kind of the story. I kind of rambled, but anyway, that's why I now have a KRG Bravo chassis, because this barrel to action has been just sitting in a cabinet unused for about a year and a half with no stock, and so I got a KRG Bravo. And during that time, I gave it to my gunsmith here at the range. He threaded the barrel for me, and the actual muzzle brake is feeling good. This actually recoils quite a bit, 308. I mean, quite a bit. A lot more than 6 Creedmoor. And so the muzzle brake helps out a little bit with taming that muzzle recoil, or the muzzle climb and stuff like that. You can see here I have the SkyPod Gen 2 on here. Still going to give you, I'm still trying to get some content for this. To be honest, I do like it. But I'm going to save my opinions on it, like whether or not you should get this over an Atlas. I'll save that for my actual like video / blog article. But anyway, enough talking. Let's go ahead. I'm going to shoot a few more rounds of this, and I'm going to bust out the 6 Creedmoor, because we'll see if that bolt, the light strikes have stopped after I cleaned out all the frog lube that I put in that bolt. So one thing like I miss about control feed, so it's a push feed action. Control feed, you get used to manipulating the bolt you can manipulate it slowly to just like let the round or the case come out very casually. With a push feed, you kind of have to kick it a little bit, and I just after shooting control feed for so long, you just forget about it. So got to remember just to operate the bolt with a little bit of force. Before we start shooting the 6 Creedmoor, just wanted to mention that the 308 rounds that I was firing, I was 9 rounds on target. These are the Burger 175 grain open tip match, just 308. 44 grains of Varget, CCI BR2 benchless primers, Lapua brass, 7X fire, so I've had this brass for a long time. It was about 2742 feet per second for a 9-round sample. A standard deviation of 11.2, which is not great, but it's not bad. So, okay, it's not good, but it's not terrible. Let's just say that. The extreme spread was like somewhere around 36. The first cold bore shot was, the cold bore clean bore shot was like the lowest one of the whole group, so that kind of threw it off, but it is what it is. It's a good enough round. It's kind of hot if you think about it for 308, because I think most people shoot 308 around 2700 or less, like 2650. But that's a 26-inch barrel. And I want speed because it's a 1 in 12 twist, so I want to get that thing going. It's a 26-inch barrel, and I'm shooting 175s, and this is like probably the heaviest bullet and the only bullet type other than the 175 grain Sierras that'll shoot in 1 in 12. I've shot it 1,000 yards, so I know it's stable. No keyholing or anything, so it's a good enough round for me. Most people probably want to run around 2650. This out of a shorter barrel, so that was a 26, maybe a 24. It would be closer to 2700, and like a 20-inch should definitely be around 2650. But you might want to dial this back, maybe go for you somewhere around 43.5 grains of Varget might be good, or less. But I'm shooting it hot, and I don't care if I wear out the barrel, because I'll just rebarrel it, because it's the stock barrel anyway, the original factory barrel. Anyway, let's go ahead and start shooting the 6 Creedmoor. And this is, like I said, last range vlog, I had some problems with this thing because I had light striking. It's all because I attribute it to frog lube. This entire bolt was in frog lube. And frog lube in colder weather gums up, and I think that's what happened. It caused the firing pin to drag, and I was getting light strikes. I know a lot of people hate frog lube. They hate frog lube. I don't mind it so much, but in those kind of situations, that's why you hate it. I still run it on my pistols, like on the slides and the barrels, like around the barrel, but I don't run it in the slide, like in the firing pin. That's what I avoid doing. But I like how frog lube is non-toxic, and if you're CCWing a gun, it's nice to have that instead of like some other oil. But right now I stripped this bolt after that range vlog, that day, that range session. I stripped this entire bolt, disassembled the whole thing, brake cleaned the hell out of it, and now it's just got regular Slip 2000, which is what I usually run on my other stuff where I don't run frog lube. I use Slip 2000 on my AR-15s. And just around other things. I don't use it in the barrel though, because I think it's got Teflon in it, so I don't run PTFE or PFTE, whatever that that chemical is, or that whatever, yeah, chemical. I don't use that in barrels. Anyway, let's go ahead and start shooting. I have a round sitting in there, and we'll see if this light strikes. If the light strikes, then there's something else wrong with this gun other than the fact that I had frog lube in the bolt. First round was good. $29.95. Adjust my hearing protection here. It's a little bit loose there. And let me reach over for my box here to remember what the hell this load is. So this is going to be the 105 grain Burger Hybrids, 6mm of course, and CCI BR4s, and oh, I totally forgot what I put in here. I'll have to look it up after the fact and paste it in here. I want to say it's 41 grains, 42 grains of H4350. I know for a fact it's 4350. I just don't know how much, and I totally didn't write it down here for some reason. But it's like on my website. I have my de facto load, and this is with Alpha Munitions brass. So. Anyway, $29.95. Where'd that brass go? And this is Alpha Munitions. I have about 200 pieces of this stuff. It's pretty good compared to Lapua, but if you can get Lapua, I just get Lapua. It's the same price. A lot of people like. I've heard. I'm no brass expert, but I've read people. Oh yeah, Alpha Munitions is a little bit soft, they say, and the primer pockets. I don't know. A lot of people come up with all these different things, and I have no idea like how scientific people are on this, but so far I've only fired it I've only got like 2 firings in this brass, so I don't know. I don't know what to say. Lapua is like the baseline standard, and everyone just sticks to that and say that's the greatest brass in the world. And hey, Lapua's great. I use it on pretty much everything. I have tons of it. I have Lapua for this. Although, do I have Lapua 6 Creedmoor? I think it's neck down. I have 6.5. I was buying Alpha Munitions before Lapua came out with 6 Creedmoor brass. And I was necking down 6.5 Creedmoor brass to use in this gun. Whoa. So 84 feet per second, 3084. So almost what did I say? 3095. So almost a 90 feet per second increase from the clean cold bore. Yep. All right. I fired 10 rounds. Let's see what we got here. 10 rounds. We got an average of 3076 feet per second. 10 rounds. Extreme spread of 102 because that first clean cold bore shot with a standard deviation of 29.6, which is terrible. But I bet you a ton of money that once I eliminate that first $29.95 round, that $29.95 shot, that extreme spread should go down significantly. So here we go. Let me just walk through it real quick so people don't freak out, because I'm going to get a ton of comments about, oh yeah, your gun is messed up, your load sucks. Here we go. Well, the gun might be messed up in that fact that clean cold bore doesn't shoot as it shoots so slow. But clean cold bore shot 29.95, then it jumps up to 30.84. 30.84 second shot, 30.85, 90, 91, 96, 81, 67. It's a little bit of a drop there. 77, 91. So you eliminate that 29.95 shot. I think your extreme spread is about 25. I think if I eyeballing it, and the standard deviation should be pretty low. And I just dropped my microphone, which is it's still recording, fortunately. Anyway, that's that. I'll run the numbers and I'll post the corrected numbers without that clean cold bore shot in there, because that throws off the throws off the velocities quite a bit, or the data. But I'll go ahead and put that in there after the fact. But let me go ahead and just we'll we'll walk out there and take a look at the targets. Look like crap, to be honest, but let's go walk out there, and then actually I'll just bring it in right now, and then we'll shoot a little bit of rimfire at 300, and we'll call it a day. Let's take a look at this target real quick. I finished up I fired like about 5 more rounds or whatever with the 308 here, so it's about within an inch right here. I threw that one high. First 5 rounds with the 6 Creedmoor this morning. I can't remember which one I threw high, but it's within, these 4 are within inside half a minute. The whole group's about 3/4. Same here, the second 5-round group I shot. I threw one high here, and then it's kind of within 3/4 of a minute. I know this gun on a good day, if I'm taking my time and being serious about it, half-minute accuracy out of this gun with these loads. But usually I tend to throw like 3/4 and just barely under 1-minute groups because I just can't shoot off a bench very well. I know for a fact it shoots pretty good at 300. I shot a nice 2-inch group at 300 one day with the 6 Creedmoor. Anyway, we're done shooting this. We're gonna go ahead and pull this target in, and we'll just shoot the Vudoo on the 300-yard target I put out there. All right, here we go. Dialed in. Kestrel says I need 12.3. I'm dialed in here. I'm gonna shoot straight away. I'm seeing a little bit left to right wind on the Mirage here, maybe. Done my spotting scope today, so we'll just have to wing it. Just my parallax. Yeah, it's left to right. I'll favor left of target. Got a magazine in there. I'm gonna favor left edge. Oh, halfway, half left. Hit. Can't tell where on target I hit. Don't see a splatter, but the Magnetospeed indicated that was a hit. I'm gonna hold center, a little bit left of center, see if that still repeats. Whoa, that was low. So I saw it impact low. I went under. Okay, that's interesting. Let me hold about a half mil up. And this. Huh. I want to say I'm hitting low, solid mil low. There you go. Okay, I went a full mil up. So the Kestrel's off. Either that, its ammo's just not shooting what I think it is. All right, I got any more on? So I'm holding 1 mil up right now. So let's go 1 mil up, favor left of target. Sending. Hit. So I hit top side of target, I think. So a good mil up, about 8 mil. So let's go and dial it. Let's go, I said 12.3. So let's go 13.2. I'm gonna hold left of center, although I think the wind might have shifted. Okay, we're hitting low. About where I want to be, but I'm gonna hold straight away. Now, oh, the target's about to fall over. That base is on a slope, so it's all right. I think the wind shifted. I see it moving right to left now. That's crazy because of the way this valley is, this canyon. I see the Mirage moving right to left. Yeah, it's moving right to left. So I'm gonna hold right edge of target right now. Same elevation. Right edge of target. And I missed. Went way left. All right, I'm gonna hold about a mil right of target right now because the wind is picking up. I can feel it. I'm gonna hold a little higher than I was holding earlier. Still hit left. That wind is picking up quite a bit. It's a good 1.5 mils of wind now at 300. I'm gonna hold high, 1.5 mils. No, 1.5 mils. Yeah, 1.5 mils. Every time I hold more right, it's going left. I'm gonna hold 2 mils. Okay, I hit above it. 2 mils hit above. Yep. So I'm holding 2 mils right of target right now. That wind shifted from left to right to left. That's the funny thing about the West End Gun Club is the wind here in this canyon. It's weird. See, I had to let off. That's rough. All right, so the wind just died. I can feel it. I'm seeing Mirage slow down. I'm gonna bracket about 1.5 mil, 1.6 right of target. And I still missed. That's rough. Anyway, the wind is shifting here today, which is really impacting 300 yards, but it's a nice opportunity to just kind of watch wind, see how it impacts or how it affects these rounds at 300. All right, so we're looking at the wind right now. The Mirage, it looks like it went back left to right. It's moving left to right. So I'm going to hold what I was holding before, left edge of target. Hit. Holding left edge, a little bit high, not too much, maybe about 1/10 of a mil. Up. Hit. So once you're on with wind, you should be okay. I think I'm hitting right edge of target, to be honest. Holding left edge, I'm just barely hitting it. I don't know. Really can't see splatter here, but it's nice to have that T1000 target hit indicator. I'm gonna bring it up about 2/10 of a mil on my, so I'm at 13.5 for 300 yards right now. Shooting at an up angle, I would say it's about 10 degrees, maybe. Holding left edge target, hit. Holding left edge target, wind's the same, maybe a little bit faster, hit. Mirage still left to right. It's a little bit less. Sun's out. I'm gonna hold left edge target. Hit. I'll hold off a little bit here. Left quarter. Hit. Left quarter. Hit. Left quarter. Oh, and I missed. Okay. I see where it went. Yeah, because the wind just shifted again. It's weird. I still think we have a right to left condition. I have no flags out there, but we're going off the Mirage. I'm going to hold a little bit right edge of target. Hit. I'm sort of aiming at my Magnetospeed right now. Good. Good. And I missed. Where'd it go? I think I need to hold a little bit more. Okay, the wind's died. I think the wind shifted. I think I'm seeing a left to right condition right now. Holding left edge target slightly. Nope, missed. It's a dead wind. Okay, now I lost the target. I want to say it's right to left. Could be wrong. Yeah, I think we're in a boiled condition right now. I don't see it. Yeah, it's hard to spot Mirage right now when the sun keeps leaving in the cloud cover. Yep, it's left to right slightly. 5 more rounds. Let's see if we can get all 5 hits here. One, 2, 3, 4. Last round, still holding the same spot. About a mil left of center. And I missed, too much talking. 4 or 5. I saw a hit left side, so the wind shifted again. So it's pretty bad out here. Let me just move the camera over. And if I don't trip on my own microphones, let's swivel this camera around for you guys. I think it'll autofocus right now. Go to continuous focus mode. So you can see when you come out here, the wind's coming in from that side. You got the wind coming in from this side. And sometimes, depending on where it swirls in this bowl here, that can affect wind. Same with the rimfire range on a smaller scale. The rimfire range at our facility, it's the same thing because you got these high berms and then the wind will swirl. So it's kind of what you have to deal with in these kind of ranges. But that's life, just learning how to read the winds in these types of conditions. Came out here to pick up the target, but I wanted to double check the distance. I set up a cardboard target on the firing line just so I have something to laze off of. And right now it's reading about 304.3, relatively consistently. 304.3, so I needed 13.5 mils to get to 304.3. I don't know the angle. I want to say is maybe, I thought I had an angle indicator on this thing, but I don't know how to utilize the correct modes to show me the angle. Thought I had it here, but it's not. I got to read the manual. Anyway, I'd have to bring out a protractor or something, but I want to say it's at least 10 degrees incline going down. Well, not 10 degrees. I don't know. Could be 10 degrees. Who knows? Anyway, show the target. See if the autofocus mode works on this thing. Anyway, it's an 8x8 target. I was shooting this at 300. I don't think I nicked my my hit indicator, so I don't feel see any bullet holes in there. But yeah, it's an 8x8 at 300 yards. A lot of the times throughout this session, I was holding left edge right here, and then when the wind shifted right to left, I was holding around here, and then almost 2 mils off when it picked up. So it's a nice 8x8. These are JC steel targets, and I have a Magnetospeed hit indicator on the back of this steel. So when it strikes, it lights up. So it's, I have it very sensitive, so just any little thing will cause that thing to light up as long as you get a nice impact. So hang on, if I can knock it, there you go. So rimfire, you definitely need it on its very most sensitive setting for the T1000 hit indicators, especially at 400 and 500 yards, because it barely makes a hit impact on the steel at that range. So anyway, let's pull this in and we'll pack up. It's just after 11 o'clock. I'm all packed up. Gonna head down to the rimfire range to drop some stuff off before I leave. But it's to recap this range vlog. 308, my 700 police model, took that out today for the first time in probably 2 years or whatever. It shoots fine. The muzzle brake, the Hellfire Area 419 Hellfire brake, I don't remember what the 308 recoiled like, but it seems fine to me, right? It's got a little bit of stoutness, but it doesn't seem to muzzle climb. I should have shot it in prone to get a little bit more feel for it, but I'll bring it out again. We'll shoot that prone just to get a feel for the 308 with the brake on it, and to get a feel for the KRG Bravo chassis, which I can't really give you an opinion on right now. It is what it is. It feels fine shooting off a bench, but bench shooting doesn't really tell you much. Number 2, the Mausingfield action, no problems with it. Shot 10 rounds, no light strikes. So the frog lube inside the bolt, because I coated the inside of that bolt, the firing pin, all that stuff, frog lube should not have done that. Definitely should not have done that. That caused the light striking problems because it got cold and it gummed up. Cleaned all that out after that one range session where I brought it out and I had those light strikes. Brake cleaned the hell out of it, and now I've got some light coat of oil inside there. Not too much, just enough to prevent rust. And then the bolt runs great, no problems there. And then 3, I shot the Vudoo today at 300, 13.5 mils at 304.3 yards. and got some squirrely winds today, but we dealt with it. But I've said this in previous range vlogs, if you've never shot your rimfire beyond 200 yards, you've got to do it. I think for those of you who don't have access to 1,000 yards, if you got 300 or 400 yards in a rimfire gun, it's such great practice because it teaches you how to be cognizant of wind, learn how to read wind changes, and how to deal with them. You know, today you saw that the wind was moving left to right, then changing right to left, and it was a dramatic shift affecting rimfire. And 300 yards with rimfire is kind of out there. I think it's beyond. I think if you scale it to like 308 or 65, you're looking at 300 yards would be around 1,200 yards, 1,400 yards. I have to look at my chart because I have one on my website. I'll link that into my video description because there's a good article on why I shoot rimfire, but it has a little chart to scale it, what rimfire, the trajectory is compared to like 308 and 6.5 and like maybe 300 Win Mag, I think I compared it to. But anyway, it's a great practice if you can shoot rimfire at 300 to 400 yards because you're shooting what we would call extreme long range, because it's compared to 1,000 yards centerfire, you're shooting beyond that. Anyway, that's kind of it for today. The upcoming things I want to talk about, the ZCO. So those of you who follow my Instagram or heard me on my last range vlog, in the end, I told you that I got a zero compromise optic 5-27 MPCT3. That's going to go on my Vudoo. I'm going to move the K525i from my Vudoo to my Mausingfield 6 Creedmoor, which I shot today. And then we're going to kind of go over that, and I'm going to do a little bit of a comparison, like how I feel with the ZCO versus, say, the Collis. And then I'm probably going to do a video kind of summarizing the last NRL 22 season and then the upcoming season and how my rifle is going to be configured for the NRL 2021-22 season. 2021-2022 season. So it's going to be pretty much the same as far as my Vudoo is concerned, just it's going to be the scope change and the bipod change, the Skypod Gen 2, which I've been shooting for the past month and a half or so. I'm still going to formulate some opinion on this. I need to make more content on it, shoot a little bit more with it from various positions. I'm trying on multiple guns in multiple positions, centerfire of course, because I really, for a bipod of this price range, you kind of want to get some more experience behind the gun before we say something about it. But yeah, look forward to that. Anyway, I want to go ahead and drop some stuff off down at the rimfire range so I can get out of here. It's going to be noon, or 11:30, almost closer to noon when we get out of here, so I want to get some lunch on the way home. Anyway, that's it for today. Today's April 27th, I believe, Tuesday, here at the West End Gun Club. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next vlog.